Find a comfortable seat, supporting yourself however you need it. Just take a few breaths here, making sure that you're comfortable. And then close your eyes if you hadn't already. And bring your awareness to your breath. First, just observing. You don't have to change anything yet. Although if you've done yoga many times before, as soon as someone says, watch your breath, you'll start to adjust it, in my experience. And that's okay too. But try and not force it too much. Just observe and follow. You might notice that your breath is mostly in your chest or in your belly. Maybe it's quite relaxed and deep already, or maybe it's pretty shallow. For me, throughout the day, my breath is usually pretty shallow. So then when I start to do yoga, that's why I'm always yawning, because that's when I start to really breathe deep. And my body is super happy to get all the oxygen it actually wants. So we'll start to add that in, start to deepen your breath. Breathing towards your low belly. If you want, you can place one hand on your belly to help you. Just feel the belly expanding with every inhale and softening again with every exhale. And try and make your breath even, so the inhales and the exhales are the same length. And we'll add in a little bit more. So breathing into your belly first, really low into your body. Then breathing more towards the center part, to your ribs, letting them expand, not just forward, but also backwards and sideways. And then sip in a little bit more air to fill the tops of your lungs. And then exhale, release everything slowly. It doesn't have to be in order. We'll do a few more rounds. Try and take your own pace so that you're not forcing too much, but breathing into the belly first. Then the ribs. Tops of the lungs, and release. A few more rounds just like that. You might notice your shoulders pulling up to make the breath as deep as possible. Also release them again. And then keep your breath nice and deep, but bring your awareness to how you're sitting, the points of you that touch the floor, that carry your weight, and allow those to become a little bit softer. As if we're making our base extra strong, extra steady, extra connected to the earth. And from that base, feel your spine becoming longer with every inhale. And softening everything around the spinal column with the exhales. Softening your face, your shoulders, your hips, your legs. A few more. And let your breath settle into a rhythm that is natural, still deep into your belly through your nose. Bring your hands together in front of your heart. We'll open class with one Om. Take a deep inhale. Bow your head to your heart, to your hands. Take another deep inhale. Sigh it out. Open your mouth. When you're ready, lift your head up. Slowly blink your eyes open. Reach your arms out sideways and then all the way up, lengthening to the sky, maybe stretching one side a little bit and then the other. Bring your arms down. We'll do that one more time. So inhale through the sides and up. Then bring your palms together and look up as the palms touch. Exhale, bring the hands to your forehead, thumbs to your forehead, thumbs to your mouth, and then throat, heart. One more time. Inhale, lengthen sideways and up. Hands together as the palms touch. You're watching them. As you exhale, palms to the forehead, palms to the mouth, throat, heart. Good. Come on to hands and knees. Hands underneath the shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Really making sure that you're supported and stable. And just moving the hips left to right a few times, checking if that's okay with your knees. My knees are saying, get a pillow. So that's what I'm doing. Hands and knees. Just moving the hips from left to right to find that stretch maybe on the outside of your hips. Especially if you've been sitting a lot, this can get really tight. So leaning into it. Maybe waking it up. Maybe one side is more tight than the other. My left side is feeling it much more today than the other. So leaning into that as well. It's okay to be out of balance a little bit. Come back to center. And then just lean your hips slightly forward. You can move your hands a bit forward so that it feels better. And then lean your hips back all the way into like a child's pose, but an active one. You can keep your toes tucked if you want. Then it immediately is also a stretch for your feet. So inhaling, coming forward into a light plank version. Exhaling, sticking your butt back and leaning it back into a child's pose, almost like a hollow spine. So you're looking forward and you're hollowing. Exhale, come forward into a plank and round. Maybe even chin to chest this round. Exhale, hollow. A few more. Go at your own pace. Your breath is what guides you. And since I'm chatting all the time, my breath is completely not aligned with the movements. So do your own. It's always better. One more time forward. And then come back into an actual child's pose. So place your feet down. You can have your knees a little bit wider if that feels better to you. I like to remove the pillow and then Keep your butt on your heels as close as possible and lean your head forward. Maybe you're resting your head on your fists, or if your head can touch the floor, that's okay too. In that case, you can fold your arms around your legs. Take a few deep breaths here. Keep your head relaxed. I'm lifting mine so you can hear me. Focus on your belly, your body being really compact. So your belly is being a little bit squished by your legs. Everything is becoming folded into itself, like we're a piece of clay that we rolled out a little bit and now we're folding it all the way into itself, into a little ball. Feel the stretch wherever it is in your body. And feel your breath. Lift your head, look forward, reach your arms forward. Keep your left hand extended on the floor so you're still in child's pose. Now take your right arm and fold it underneath your left arm to the left. Try and bring your right shoulder to the floor. Maybe even your right side of your head. You can use your left hand underneath your head to support. Or if your head can touch the floor, you can also reach your left arm up and fold it over yourself towards your right hip crease. So we're twisting and folding at the same time. Slow breaths. Checking in with your body. Does this feel okay? Can you maybe do a little bit more? Or is it already a little bit too much? One more deep inhale here. As you exhale, release the arms forward again. Take a second in a neutral position. And then switch sides. So lift your head up, inhale, look forward, extend your right arm, fold your left arm underneath. Bring your shoulder towards the floor, it doesn't have to touch. Bring your ear towards the floor. Maybe you're staying here using your hand as a pillow. Maybe you're opening your right arm to the sky and folding it around you towards your left hip crease. Whatever works for you today. Slow deep breaths. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, release, come back to neutral. Take a breath here. And then lift your head, look forward, come up onto hands and knees. Widen your stance a little bit, so bring your legs slightly back, curl your toes under, come up to downward facing dog. Take a moment to walk out your legs, waking up your calf muscles, your toes, your ankles. I like to crack my toes here. Really feeling that nice lift, hips up and back. Usually we use this pose to move through something, but it's kind of nice to stay in it a little bit longer than expected, and you'll notice it gets a little bit harder, but also maybe easier at the same time. So find the balance and feel how it works for you today. Maybe even swaying your hips a little bit left to right. That for me intensifies the stretch on my hamstrings. And then look forward, walk your hands back to your legs. So you're ending up in a forward fold.
wherever you end up, it doesn't matter how deep you get into a pose. You can grab opposite elbows to really feel the hanging sensation, especially if you're a little bit more flexible and your hands can touch the floor. I recommend not touching the floor and grabbing your elbows. Let your head hang, shake it out so you're sure that your neck is relaxed, maybe shaking yes and no with your head. And then leaning your weight slightly forward and backwards on the feet. So you're swaying in your forward fold. Making sure that you're not swaying too much, that you're not falling over. And remember to keep your head relaxed. It's very tempting to start looking down because we like to see what we're doing and where we're going. Trusting your own balance, your own feet to carry you. Next time you're leaning forward towards your toes, stay there so that your hips are nicely aligned with your heels. You don't have to stretch your knees, by the way, they don't have to be straight. As long as you're feeling the stretch on the backside, that's enough. And then keep leaning towards your toes and start to sway your torso a little bit left to right. So now there's a little bit of a switch happening in the different parts of the hamstrings stretching. Don't forget to breathe slowly with awareness. And then bend your knees deep, uncurl your spine all the way. Take your arms up, inhale. Hands together and down to your heart. And then walk forward to the front of the mat. Again, grabbing a pillow if you need it. Maybe tucking in your shirt if you're wearing a wide shirt like me. All right. Tadasana, so mountain pose. Feet hips distance, parallel. Spread your toes. Grip the floor with your feet to make sure that you're stable, but don't make it too tense. Keep everything a little bit soft. Knees slightly bent so that you can engage the muscles rather than hanging in the joints. Tuck your tailbone a little bit, core engaged, arms relaxed. Imagine you're one of those puppets on a string. So you're being pulled up through the spine, super tall and long. Close your eyes. And feel your connection to the floor through your feet. Starting to sway left or right here. With your eyes closed, this might feel a little bit different, but it's okay, you can do it. Feeling how your feet move and carry your weight. And then maybe turning it into circles. So leaning more towards your heels and then one side into the toes and then the other side. Just experimenting with what that means for you. Still with your eyes closed if possible. And keep it small, it doesn't have to be very big. Going in the other direction, same thing, circles. Keep breathing slowly and steadily. And then come back to center. Find your center with your eyes closed and feel the difference in standing in that center now that we experimented with the extremities, the balance on the outskirts of town. Now we're in the middle of our center. Might feel much more balanced, much more steady. Open your eyes. Inhale, bring your arms up. Make yourself tall. Exhale, fold forward as you do the hands, forehead, mouth, heart, and then floor. If you can touch the floor, no pressure. You can also do shins. Find your forward fold here for a second. And remember, leaning a little bit of weight towards the toes, relaxing your neck, really finding the stretch on the whole back side of the body. Place your hands on your shins. Inhale, halfway lift. Remember, don't lock out your knees. Pull your shoulders back and up to the sky. Exhale, bring your fingertips down so you can bend the knees a little bit, and then step your left foot back. Bring your left knee to the floor. Lean your hips forward, so you might have to help your foot go forward a little bit more, and then start to feel a stretch in your hips, the front of your left hip, the back maybe of your right hip and hamstring. Just leaning into that a little bit. Here you can also go left to right, maybe twisting around your left thigh or just swaying left or right, whatever works for you to feel the different stretches being activated. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, lean your hips back and find your forward fold with the right leg extended. Doesn't have to be straight, the knee can be slightly bent. Pull your toes towards you to really activate the calf muscles as well. And then we're stretching the hamstring. If this is too much for you, come up with the torso, hands on your hips, and from here fold, maybe a little bit. That's also a great way to stretch your hamstring. So it just depends on how your body is doing today. It doesn't mean you're not doing it right. Remember, folding your head in. However low or not low you're getting, allow the whole backside to lengthen, to stretch the right side, but also the back and the neck. Slow, deep breaths. Staying present with whatever comes up for you right now. One more breath. Inhale, look forward. Bend your front leg again and step it forward into a forward fold. Halfway lift, hands on your shins if you want, or fingertips on the floor. Inhale. Exhale, fold all the way, chin to chest, weight on your toes. And if you stay here for a few breaths, imagine lengthening your spine with the inhale, and then really squeezing your belly as you exhale. Because these muscles, when they when they work, when your core muscles engage, that's the word I was looking for, then the spine muscles are more easy able to let go. That's how our body works. So when you squeeze the belly, you might fold a little bit more than you were expecting. You might feel a little bit more of a stretch as well than you were expecting. All the way on the posterior chain, the backside of your whole body. Inhale, halfway lift, hands on your shins. Exhale, step your right foot back. Bring your right knee down. Lean your hips forward. Just in that low lunge, testing out what works for you. So maybe swaying left to right, finding that nice stretch, or turning a little bit with your hips. Take One more breath here. And then slowly lean your hips back. Remember, if this is too much for you, you can always bring your hands on your hips and come up with your torso. And then pull your toes up. You might have to move your foot a little bit forward so that your hips are over your back knee. Use your breath. Inhales, lengthening your spine. Exhales, folding, helping you fold in more. Feel free to keep this still if that feels good for you, or to keep slightly swaying and moving if that's your vibe today. It's all an experiment, so feel free to experiment away. One more breath here. And then look forward, bend your front knee again, and step your back foot back. Your front foot back, this time to hands and knees. Take a second here. I like to lift my knees out to the side to just let my hips crack and wake up. Maybe your toes as well. I have a lot of cracks in my body. And take a second to move around and see if that feels good to you. We're moving a lot more slowly and close to the floor today, but it can still feel really intense. So feel free to make it softer if you need that, or make it more intense if that feels like more your vibe today. To lift your right foot up and back. Inhale. Exhale, bring your knee to your nose. 2 more, just like that. Inhale back. Lift your head as well. Exhale, knee to nose. 1 more. Lengthen. And as you become small, lift your foot as much as you can and step it forward in between your hands. Use your hands to move your foot forward. Instead of the low lunge that we were doing before now, we're going to lift up the back foot and turn it to the right. So it's all the way, you can't see my foot anymore. See, it's disappeared behind my leg. That's what we want. Now you're going to lean your right leg forward, your right knee forward. Hand can be either on the inside on the floor or elbow on the knee, so a little bit more accessible. And then push your weight forward and push your right knee back so that you're stretching the inside here, the groin area. Your left hand can be on your hip, or if you're feeling pretty strong today, it can be up as well. This is a light version of side angle pose. Really squeeze your butt here. So this whole thing is moving that way, but my knee is moving that way. So that's stretching this whole part here. And at the same time, we're expanding and extending the left side body. Maybe even looking up. From here, inhale, come up into a low version of warrior 2. So your front knee is still bent, your legs are still really open, but at the same time, squeezing your knee and your foot towards each other. Look over your front hand, shoulders down. Find your breath, feel your core working, feel your butt working. Should work really hard here. Inhale, turn your right palm. Exhale, reverse. So your hand can be on your leg or on your side, and you're stretching out your right side body now. Still moving your knee actively to the front. So we're not here, we're there. 1 breath, maybe looking up. As you exhale, bring the arm forward, both arms. Turn the back foot back, and then step it back, hands and knees. Take a second here to reset. And then we'll switch sides. So from hands and knees, lift your left foot up and back. Inhale. Exhale, knee to nose. 2 more. Inhale back. Exhale, knee to nose. Last one. Step your foot forward, maybe helping it forward a little bit more. Lean your knee forward. Remember, back foot lifts off and turns to the left now, so that your hips are already starting to open. Left hand on the inside of the left leg, or I prefer elbow on the knee. Really leaning the hips forward, opening the chest to the side, opening the hips to the side. Squeeze your butt underneath you and push your knees open to the left. Hand on hip or hand over. Side angle. Maybe even looking up if that feels accessible for your neck. Find your breath. Next inhale, come up into warrior two. Hands shoulder height, shoulders down. Engage your core. Remember, you're still leaning into the knee, but you're also now squeezing the foot and the knee towards each other. So this activates the adductors, the inside muscles of your legs. Find your breath here. Inhale, turn your front hand. Exhale, reverse, hand on your leg or calf muscle. Keep leaning your weight forward as you expand your left side. Shoulders away from your ears. Deep inhale. As you exhale, come all the way back, hands to the floor. This time stepping forward again to forward fold. We're switching that up so we have different in-between moments. Have your feet strong. Remember, weight more towards your toes, stretching the back side of the body. Let your arms hang or grab your legs, whatever works for you. Especially the neck is soft. Slow, deep breaths. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your left foot back. Bring the knee to the floor. Maybe make your stance a little bit longer, and then lift your chest up to feel the length and the stretch. Place your left hand on the floor, and I like to place it a little bit further away from me, forward and sideways, so that my wrist doesn't hurt. Wrists can be easily annoyed in yoga if you're not knowing what muscles to engage. Right hand on your right knee, and then start to push yourself into a twist, maybe cracking your back while you're waking it up. So really trying to create a twist all the way from your low spine up to your neck and head. Remember, your left shoulder, pull it away from your ear, so you're actively pushing your arm into the floor, and then your right arm reaches up to the sky, if that's okay. Don't forget to breathe. Maybe even opening your heart a little bit, so instead of your knee close to your chest, you're leaning away from your knee, opening. Look to the back foot, see if you can see it, and if your hand can imagine reaching towards it, maybe that's enough. If you're able to, you can also bend the knee and grab the foot, and then use that as leverage to open more. So it's not a foot to butt contest, it's just a handle to hold on to, or something to reach towards. Release your foot if you had it, bring your arm forward, and then place it on the inside of your right leg, hands underneath your shoulders. You can hop shuffle your right foot a little bit to the right. The toes can be pointed open, so it's like a ballerina stance, and the inside edge of your foot can be lifted, if that feels right. Inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, bend your arms a little bit. Imagine bringing your belly towards the floor. So not the forehead, but the belly. You should feel this a lot in your right inner groin. If you want, you can try and come onto the elbows, but that's not necessary in order to do it right. So if you're feeling it in your right groin area and leg and hip, then you're doing it right, however deep you are. Don't forget to breathe. One more deep inhale. And then bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Bring your hips a little bit back so that you can bring your foot back to the center of the mat. And then step yourself forward, back into a forward fold. We're not doing much here. We're just hanging out for a sec and observing the difference. You might feel your right groin feeling very different than your left. Maybe not, that's okay too. Just observe. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back. Bring your right knee to the floor. Lean your hips forward, make your spine long. Pull your shoulders back. And find that stretch on the right front hip or maybe the left hamstring as well. Place your right hand on the floor, like I said before, a little bit forward and sideways to protect your wrist. Place your left hand on your knee and start to twist, pushing yourself into the twist. It's really tempting here to let your right shoulder fold to your right ear. Keep pushing your right arm as well as your left arm, and then lifting up the left arm to the sky, maybe looking up. And it's kind of nice to imagine here that your right hand could possibly lift off the floor if you really had to. So you're not leaning into it like it's carrying all your weight, but instead your weight is on your legs and your hand could float if it needed to. Doesn't have to today, but that helps for the shoulder. Inhale here, open even more, twist, look up. And then exhale, look backwards and feel a little bit more of that opening. So that means that my head is almost against the wall now. So really leaning backwards and open. Maybe that's enough for you today. Maybe you want to bend the foot, bend the knee and grab the foot and pull it a little bit in as you're opening more. Breathe slowly into the twist, into the opening. One more deep inhale. And release. Lift your left arm up and forward, and then bring it on the inside of your left foot. Maybe your left foot goes a little bit to the side, hands underneath your shoulders. Left toes can be off the mat with the heel still on the mat, and your knee falls open to the side. So now you might already feel a really intense stretch on the inside of your left leg and hip and groin area. If you want to intensify, imagine lengthening your spine on the inhale. As you exhale, bend your arms, maybe come onto elbows, but focus on belly and chest towards the floor instead of head towards the floor. Whew. It's okay if this feels really intense. If you decide to come back up, that might be good. Use your breath to keep yourself okay in this pose. Maybe swaying, maybe holding still. Again, it's up to you. It's your experiment. And from here, slowly come out of the pose and back into hands and knees. Take a moment, maybe cracking your hips, and then come to sit on your butt with your legs extended in an open position. This doesn't have to be a ballet splits, okay? You can have the legs like this. It's still an open position. Do what fits you. Ignore the hole in my leggings. And if your knees are easily sore, you can bend them slightly and roll a towel underneath them or a little pillow. Or if you're just really tight, you can also have your knees slightly bent. This exercise is really good for our intestines as it creates a little bit more space on the side body. So this is our last active sitting movement. Inhale, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, slowly start to bend to the left, twisting a little bit. Left elbow towards your left knee. You can either have your right hand on your hip or right hand overhead, depending on how intense you want to make this. This can get quite intense, so don't force it. Remember, left shoulder away from your ear. Maybe your arm is leaning on your leg. Maybe your hand is leaning on the floor to brace you a little bit, to protect you. If your elbow can reach your leg, try and have it on the inside of the knee so that you're helping yourself to twist open a little bit more. Keep both of your sit bones on the floor and feel that whole right side body stretching. This is what creates space in a big tight turn in your large intestine. So it can really help your digestive system to have a little bit more ease of corners, if that makes sense. Don't forget to breathe. If you like a challenge, maybe your right hand touches your left toe and you're looking underneath your arm. Maybe not. That's okay too. One more deep breath here. And then slowly release. Come back to center. Whew. Take a moment here. Close your eyes and observe. Do you feel what happened? Was it enough? Was it too much? Always good to check in before we do the other side. When you're ready, start to bring your right elbow towards your right knee. Your left hand either on your hip or a hand up in the sky. Remember, you can use your right arm to brace yourself so that you're not going too far, so that it doesn't get too intense on this side body. If you're down a little bit more, you can bring your elbow on the inside of the knee to open more. Maybe looking up. Find your breath. Really trying to expand on the left side, creating more space for the lungs, but also for the intestines. Maybe reaching your hand to your toe, but maybe not. And some days it's easier than others. Some sides is easier than other sides. One more breath here. And slowly come out of the pose all the way. Bring your legs towards each other. Just take a moment sitting however is comfortable for you, with your eyes closed, shoulders relaxed. We've neutralized, we've done both sides. You might still feel the left side a little bit more because it was more recent. But in the end, you'll be a little bit more balanced. And then when you're ready, come lie on your back. If you want to put extra layers on, you can now. Pull your knees into your chest. For one last little ball squeeze. Our clay ball has moved into all these different shapes and expansions, and now we're making it small again, folding everything back in. This is also known as the wind relieving pose, Apanasana. So if you have belly aches or something like that, cramps, this can be really helpful to pull your own knees into your belly, to create a little bit of pressure, like a belly massage for yourself. That's the best part about doing home yoga and being at home. You can just do these small movements to help your own health without having any need to go to a studio or to have a yoga mat or to feel shame for relieving some wind. Even though that's always normal in class as well. Never will a yoga teacher judge you or be shocked, but it's extra nice to do this specific pose in your home if you have cramps. Take one more deep breath here. And then slowly release your legs. Place the toes on the floor. Arms can expand sideways, shoulder height. We're just gonna let the knees fall to the left for a second. Not too long, so you can keep it pretty easy. Maybe looking over to the right. Come back to center with the head and the knees, and then switch. Knees over to the right, head looks over to the left. If you like the slow moving version, keep doing that. Or if you like it a little bit more flowy, you can switch a few times. So knees to the left, look over to the right as you exhale. As you inhale, come back to center. Exhale, knees to the right, head to the left. Inhale, back to center. Do a few more. If you want to play around with it, you can. My back wants a little crack, so you can try and adjust. And then come back to center. Extend your legs down to the floor. Make sure you're lying comfortably, so maybe grabbing a pillow or an extra layer. I'm actually going to grab my sweater real quick. And then just let everything lie as it is. Relax down to the floor. Close your eyes. And just feel how your body is resting right now. Letting your shoulders become heavy and pulling them a little bit underneath you, away from your ears. Letting your hips settle and soften. Relax your feet and your toes and your ankles. Relax your legs, your knees soft.
Feel your hips and your glutes, your whole pelvis area become extra soft, like it's melting into the mat. Soften your fingers, your hands, your wrists. Relax your arms. Feel your shoulders soften and your chest. All the way up to your throat, your jaw. Relax your face, your eyeballs, your tongue, your mouth, all the things. And just feel how you're resting here, how your body can be soft, surrendered. So that not only our muscles and bones are relaxed, but we're also softening the soft parts, the inside parts, the organs, and also the thoughts and the emotions get a little bit more space to soften, as if everything is melting together into a little puddle of you. Make your next breath a little bit deeper. Maybe even sighing it out. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Make yourself long, stretch out. Pull your knees into your chest. Keep your eyes closed and roll onto your side. Stay there for a moment in fetus position. And then with your eyes closed, push yourself back up to a seat. Bring your palms together in front of your heart, feeling into your body right now. Gratitude for being able to move, for being able to take the time to move and stretch and breathe and be mindful. And we'll close together with one Om. So take a deep inhale. Bow your head to your heart. Namaste. Take your time. When you're ready, lift your head back up. Slowly open your eyes. Thank you so much for practicing with me. I hope this felt good in your body, and I'll see you again very soon.